This is Woolton Cross in Woolton Village, Liverpool, and in the distance where these vehicles are heading along is Woolton Street, and Woolton Street runs right through the village until it becomes Acrefield Road. This is where Woolton Street ends, just opposite the Elephant Pub, and it becomes Acrefield Road here and heads off towards Gattaca. So Woolton Street looking quite colourful with the autumn leaves on the ground, but it's not this end of Woolton Village that we're interested in today. Today we're looking at the Woolton Street, which is directly behind me, and this is what it used to look like a long time ago, and this is what it looks like today. You can see the cross there. Back in 2022, December of 2022, no, 2 years ago now, I made a video about this stretch of Woolton Street, and a couple of comments mentioned that there was another shop on this street other than Brown's, but I couldn't find anything about it. Anyway, I had an email last week, possibly the week before now, from a Charles Southern, and he says that his relatives owned a shop on this street, and he sent me some photographs, and I have his permission to use them. So let's have a look at where this shop used to be. In Charlie's email, he said that he'd watched the original Woolton Street video. He said that there was another shop further along Woolton Street which belonged to a great uncle of his. His name was John Southern, and this information was brought to Charlie's attention by John's grandson, Jeff Southern. So Charlie and Jeff set off to Woolton Street to have a look at the location of this shop, and they say it's opposite a house which is number 41, so that's on the right hand side. Now things have changed on this side of the road. These are old folks' flats, some of them are nearly as old as me, and if we look at this one in front of us here, this is roughly where John Southern's shop would have been. This would have been the side wall and his pathway, but from where we're looking now it would have been a little bit further to the left, because we're looking at number 43 on the opposite side of the road, and 41 is the one with the lights on behind those two bushes. But give or take, this would have been roughly where John Southern's shop was. So if I take a step back and get a view of the road towards Woolton Cross, this is roughly where the shop would have been. And these photographs, they think, date from the late 1920s or early 1930s. Now this, to me, looks like a wedding photograph, and the side wall of the shop is on our left. And what Charlie is saying is that house behind them is number 41. So basically we're using that house as the placement for where the shop used to be. So number 41 is the house with the lights on there. Now John Southern, who owned the shop at this particular moment in time, lived in Woolton village, and he also had another job. He was a chimney sweep. And back in the 1920s, 1930s, when everybody had a coal fire, a chimney sweep would have been a very busy guy. Now, I mentioned another shop which was called Brown's, and Brown's is still here in the village, although every time I pass it it's closed. But it's a newsagent's and sweet shop, and it's situated here now. Been there since the 1960s, I think, but it used to be just where this Ford Mondeo is, that row of houses there. The last house is where Brown's shop was originally. And this is a watercolour painting of Woolton Street, and you can see Brown's shop in the foreground there on the right. Now, Southern's shop would have been on the same side of the road, the right hand side, but it would have been at the end of the block, and I can't see it in this particular painting. So the large building on the right in that watercolour is this building here on the left in this photograph, and you can see its situation with Southern's shop, and for whatever reason it doesn't seem to appear on that watercolour, and I don't know what date that watercolour was painted, so we can't really find out when this shop actually disappeared. Now, if you know, it would be really interesting, so if you do know when it disappeared, leave a comment below. Now, this is a photograph of Brown's shop original location, and that car there is just to the right of Woolton Cross. Give you an idea of where it was. Rightio, thank you very much for watching, and thank you very much to Charlie Southern for sending me the email and the photographs which made this video possible. So once again, thanks very much for watching, and we'll catch up soon. Oh, and before I go, I'll leave you with a couple of outtakes because it took 3 attempts to make this video. The weather's been dreadful this week. Well, I think rain stops play today. Started off reasonably nice, but as the morning's gone on, it's just got worse, and the rain's come in now, and it's pretty heavy. I came out to do this video yesterday, and exactly the same thing happened.